sometimes we get so engrossed and so happy about a story that we don't deal with our issues. We know good and well if she's been treated like trash all those years, it was not a happy ending, because you can't tell me she went in that castle and didn't struggle with her self-esteem and all this other stuff. I'm just getting real right now. And I know it's just a story, but I like to use stories to kind of illustrate a little bit when I talk.
Let's do this. It's time to start making excuses. Let's suck it up and go make it happen. The only thing that you'll ever have is what you grab. The only thing that you'll ever have is what you grab.
What's up, Team Jackson? It's your girl Shara, and I am back with another video. Okay, you guys, so today I'm flying solo. Ty is out doing his thing, so I will be partaking in some delicious shrimp. It's Cajun style with some flavored wild rice and some green beans. Okay, before we start the partaking of this delicious meal, let me go on and say a quick prayer. Father God, thank you for the food we're about to receive, for the nourishment of our body, and we bless you and we thank you in the name of Yeshua. Amen. Amen. I hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day. As you can see, when I eat all of this, I will be partaking in adding some CHÁM sauce. You know, the code, it will be in the description box below, Team Jackson. And I have some right here on the side. So it will be used to dip my shrimp in. So let's eat, y'all. Let's go. Hope everyone's having a wonderful, wonderful day. Ooh, I'm hungry today, y'all. A beautiful, beautiful day. As I said before, Ty is out doing his thing. So sometimes when he's out doing his thing, I do little things that he may not want to do with me. Now, he'll do it with me for the sake of, you know, just doing it with me, but he may not really, really want to do with it. So I have 3 brothers. So, okay, I'm the only girl. So what I used to do is I used to find a lot of ways to entertain myself when I was growing up. One thing I loved growing up was watching Disney. I love Disney. I love musicals. Oh my God, the Sound of Music. I used to be in there. I used to be in there singing. And I'm serious. I would be in there dancing and all that other stuff. Can you myself entertain? Look. Just so you know, I'm also partaking in some grape raspberry ice drink. I love these because they are I think it's very low in calorie. So I love it. Of course, there's no sugar, so I'm going to drink some of that. Oh, this is good. This is grape raspberry. Okay. So I will be in my little world, you know, doing my thing and stuff. Singing. I mean, my fake microphone, my comb and brush, you know, all that. I do all that by myself. I would talk to God. I mean, that's what I did it. That's like, it was not formal. And of course, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all know that, but prayer doesn't have to be formal. You could just talk. Whatever. But I used to do all that by myself in my own corner, right? So, having been gone, I started watching. I said, let me watch a musical. Because, you know, it made me happy back then. I said, I want a little, you know, uplifting. I don't know if y'all familiar with Rodgers and Hammerstein. They were a producing duo, and they did musicals like Oklahoma and all that other stuff. So they did Cinderella. There's like about 3 versions, I think, that came to TV. I'm pretty sure they did it on Broadway as well. And The first one I think had Julie Andrews. The second one had Ginger Rogers, and I think the last one, as far as I'm concerned, the one that goes on TV had Whitney Houston and Brandy in it. So I ended up watching the one with Ginger Rogers because I couldn't find the one with Whitney Houston and Brandy. So I said, let me watch the other one because that one, the one with that was Ginger Rogers, I think that was in the 60s or something. When that came out, that's the one I remember growing up. Okay, so I was sitting there like, okay, this is gonna be it. So I was watching Cinderella, you know, like happy. But y'all, I watched it, I said, this is a horrible story. I'm sorry. I was like, this is horrible. It really is. Okay. I'm so glad as a child, the only thing I could see was the positivity out of it. There was a girl who was treated unfairly. She met her Prince Charming and bam, you know, she got it. She was good, okay? But man, when I watched it yesterday, it was like my eyes were illuminated, okay? First of all, Cinderella was being abused. Her stepmother was telling her she won't nothing. The entire movie. She was telling her she won't nothing. She was telling her she won't worth nothing. She was telling, she was in the house because supposedly her dad, her father died. So her sisters have like a different father. So Cinderella's father died. So when he died, her mother just started treating her like she didn't even matter, okay? So that's another thing. Those of y'all that have relationship, watch, you know, just be very observant. If that person you with doesn't care about your children, it's not worth it, I promise you. But anyway, so I was just like, okay, she was in an abusive situation. Another thing that really touched me about it, it brought me back to something that happened when I was younger. I remember there was this person, she had a stepchild, and not stepchild, she actually had foster children. And she ended up with the kids because one of her good friends ended up on drugs. So she ended up with the kids. I went to the mall with her one day. I think I was probably like 17 years old. She was a member of the church. And it was great. Every time I saw her, she was with the kids. And it was just an admirable thing to do. Wow, you took in these kids. Because she already had like a little baby of her own and like an older daughter about my age. So I thought it was admirable. Like, wow. You're checking in these kids. Every time you saw the kids, they smelled good. They looked pretty. Everything. I remember I took them out. Her son was younger. Her son was probably like maybe 4 or 5 years old. And he wanted something out of the mall. Then she was telling her younger child, look, the other kids wanted something too. She said, you ain't my kids. So don't think you're going to get the same thing my kids get. And I was like, okay. So I saw that at the mall. Then I ended up at her house. And then when I got to her house, it was the same. Every time I saw her and those children, it was the same thing. She was letting them know that they weren't worth nothing. She was letting them know that they were not her children. So to the outside, it looked admirable. But the reality was the kids were going through mental strain and abuse, and there was a lot of other things I saw, but I'm not going to talk about it really, but it was just like, what? And so when I was watching the story, of course, y'all know how it goes. The prince is trying to find the love of his life, so what he does is he decides to have a ball. He has a ball, Cinderella goes. And what's amazing to me is how in the world they didn't know that it was Cinderella. She looked exactly the same. And how in the world, when I was a kid, now I was a sharp kid, how in the world when I was a kid, I didn't pick up on that earlier? Like, wait a minute, like, it won't even know, because you know how sometimes they pull that stunt? Like, you could put a pair of glasses on them, like, you like kind of like Steve Urkel, like, you don't know that's Stefan Arkell and stuff, and then you put the daggone, a mask on, then you be like, oh, I can't see, you know, but the girl, all she did was have a clean face. That was it, you know, versus the smudge. So I was like, okay, so first of all, how do we not know? Secondly, and I know it's a fairy tale. I know it's a fairy tale. Secondly, How in the world he fall in love with her after dancing with her for maybe an hour, couple of hours or so? How did he know he was in love right then? But it's a fairy tale, you know. We want to believe, you know, we want to believe it, you know. Oh, Lord. So, okay, then what was funny too, even about the mother, which I forgot to mention, she had 2 other daughters, and she didn't treat her daughters as bad, but she still treated them bad too. She was just telling them how mediocre they were, pretty much the whole entire story. Then y'all know the story, midnight strike, she runs back home, and she gets back to the house before being suspected that she left, whatever. And it was crazy about when they got home, her stepsisters and her mother came home from the ball. She was there, you know, looking like she never left. And it was, of course, y'all already know it's after midnight. So she gonna come in there and just talk about, oh, I could imagine how great the ball was when y'all were there and stuff. Hold on. She was just talking about that, right? They're like, how do you know? She's like, I'm just using my imagination, blah, blah, blah. Did y'all catch her mother? After she was like trying to have a good moment with her mother and her sister, her mother told her to get the cleaning. Now, so probably by that time it was 1 o'clock in the morning. So she gonna tell that girl. First she was fussing because the girl, she said, you should be in the bed because you got a lot to do tomorrow. She served them hand and foot. Every time they breathed, she had to get up out of her chair and get them something. I mean, the story is horrible. So, even after that, she made the girl stay up and clean like 1 o'clock in the morning. Whew. Okay. We all know how that goes. Later on, the prince comes through the town with a glass slipper because you know she ran out without the glass slipper. Okay. I don't even know why this is bothering me so much. I hope I'm not messing y'all up with y'all dream of this story. But look, this is with nothing. So I'm like, okay. Got a glass slipper. What size does Cinderella wear that nobody else could fit those shoes? Because y'all know, okay, was Cinderella's feet so big? Like, let's say Cinderella, did she wear a size 20 that he couldn't find nobody to fit her shoe? Or was her feet so small? Let's say she was like a size 1, like in a woman. Or something crazy like that. I'm trying to figure out why it was so hard to find somebody to fit that shoe. Because a lot of us wear size 10s and 9s and 8s. So how was her foot so custom? Did she have more of a curve in her foot? What made that shoe fit on her? Okay. So she finally put the shoe on, and then they lived a happily ever after. So that's the part that I really remember. That's what's funny to me. Because out of all that stuff that was going on, that's what I really remember. I remember them living happily ever after. This is my point. It's like sometimes we get so engrossed and so happy about a story that we don't deal with our issues. We know good and well if she's been treated like trash all those years, it was not a happy ending. Because you can't tell me she went in that castle and didn't struggle with her self-esteem and all this other stuff. I'm just getting real right now. And I know it's just a story, but I like to use stories to kind of illustrate a little bit when I talk. The girl was being abused, okay? And sometimes, and I'm talking from a perspective of myself, not in the realms of abuse, but just saying that sometimes you have stuff heavy on you that you don't deal with. And because you think that someone's coming into your life that's going to solve it, and what we do is we continue to escape whatever it is that we're dealing with. Going back to the mother who was on drugs, that was on drugs that I mentioned earlier, who had her kids taken away. There was something going on in her life that made her feel like her only way out was to do drugs. That's why she ended up being on drugs and lost her children to her friend. I just want to encourage everybody that whatever it is, I don't care how dark it is, how unbearable it is to think about, just deal with it. Deal with it. Deal with it head on. I don't know if it's going to be counseling, but just deal with it. And that way you will definitely have a happy ending, because there definitely is hope for you. I'm a woman of faith, so I believe that there's hope in God. There's definitely hope. Nothing's hopeless that you have to end your life or that you won't conquer things and you won't make it, and there's a lot to it. You can't have that, what they call the fairy tale magical ending. But my thing is, the reality of things is sometimes we overlook things and we think that we're in a good spot, and then things hit us sideways and we don't understand where it came from because we never dealt with it. 'Cause I know me emotionally, I suppressed stuff so good that I thought I'd overcome it, and then it would just come out in other ways. So I just want to just tell you guys, you can overpower it. You can deal with it. Life can be better. You can get the fairy tale. You can. But just deal with it, y'all. And that's all I'm telling you. Just deal with it. Don't let it smack you upside the head later on to a point that is so overwhelming to you. A lot of us don't like doing counseling. Especially us of faith. And I'm not saying you have to go to an actual, it could be a pastoral counseling. It could be like anybody, just getting stuff off your chest. Because a lot of us feel, like we just like, no, I'm strong enough. But what happened to me one day, I was going through a lot of things, and someone actually had to sit me down and make me face reality, because I felt like, no, I'm good. Because it hit me like a ton of bricks. It hit me like a ton of bricks, like you got some stuff you got to deal with. And I am, and I have. And it's been nothing but great. If I feel like I am, should I say my age? Or should I just tell you I'm 29? What should I do? But, actually, I've been 29 for a long time. Actually, I told that lie for so long that I couldn't even remember my real age, because I was just lying. But anyway, I'm 40. I'm 41 years old, and because I'm starting to deal with things, it feels like I have a brand new life. It feels like I started all over. I don't know how to describe it to you. And people will tell you too about the ages. They'll tell you, oh, when you get to the age of this, the age of that, your life just shifts because you put stuff into perspective. So I started dealing with things, tackling things, and I feel better. Ooh, excuse me. The drama. I feel better than I ever have. And I believe the same for y'all. It's not a dead end. It really is not. Look, y'all, I didn't want to talk to y'all to discourage y'all from watching Cinderella. It was nothing like that, but it hit me when I watched it yesterday. I was like, this was a great, I thought this was good. It's horrible. Just horrible. Just horrible. But you can be happy, though. You can be happy. Okay? I'm going to finish these last few bites. Well, thanks for joining me. If you are new to our channel, let me take a sip real quick. Ooh. If you are new to our channel, please be sure to subscribe, like, share, and comment, and click the post notification bell so you'll be notified every single time we post a new video. Love conquers all. Together we stand. Divided we fall. Team Jackson, peace and love.
I'm starting to really believe that communication is the key. I think communication is the key. We need to start communicating more. Let's just start communicating more. Let's have more conversation.